is an emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived.
Down to the queens.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside of the gender spectrum, and welcome back to Stardom Quest, the best weekly Stardom show anywhere in the world. I am, as always, Alex, and I am joined by Dylan. Hi, Dylan.
Hi, Alex. Hi, everybody. This is actually a swerve, Alex. Nobody told you this is actually a G1 Climax preview. I'm sorry. You will know nothing, and I will
All
be
right, see
very
ya.
upset.
Got wanted none of that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, welcome to the 5-star Grand Prix preview. I'm super excited. This is the highlight of my freaking week. I love this shit. I love tournament maths and being a nerd.
Hell yeah.
Very happy to be here with Alex and with our special guest.
But
I
you
already
stole my
talked,
thunder.
so it
Yeah,
kinda ruined
you
it.
stole my thunder here. But we have Scott as always every year. He's the main guest. He's the big get. He's our he's like the
Third man.
WrestleMania part timer who comes back to like have a cool match. That's him.
To beat Omos?
He's John
Omos?
Cena. He's John Cena because they're
Oh,
both from
okay.
Boston.
To lose to Austin Theory? That's tough.
Oh, listen, you know.
That was tough. I was hoping I got like the Brock treatment here, but nope. You gave me
Brock.
you gave me Cena.
Brock is pretty
Cena
active.
post
Like
wrestling.
he's pretty active now. I think you can't really be Brock.
All right, I guess I'll be Cena. So I'm here. I'm here, everybody. Hello. Thanks for the. I don't even know if that was a good introduction. You're like, yeah, you just happen to be here again. We have to deal with you, and then you call me John Cena. So I guess that was to make me feel better.
Well, you're both from
but
Boston.
He's pretty cool.
It works, you know.
That is
he
true.
is also from Boston.
That is
West
true.
Newbury, but close.
Yeah. That's Boston for everybody, by the way. If if you're from Massachusetts and you're within a few hours, it's just Boston. But I'm not going to talk about Boston anymore. I'm going to talk about the 5-star Grand Prix. Sound good?
Yeah, all right.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you know, what better place to start than who's gonna win this thing? I think the last time I did top 3 last year we couldn't do a top 3 because there was not 3 viable options. But this year I think there are 3. So Scott, want to kick us off? Who's your favorite?
Mariah May.
Base God. Shouts out. I'm really sad. Mariah May and May Sarah aren't wrestling in this tournament. Because they just, I don't know why I just feel like they're gonna click. But no, for real.
It's Utami. Do you want me to explain that? Do I have to explain why it's Utami?
I'm sure Dylan and I will agree. So you can if you want.
All right. It's because she got GCW training, so like she's gonna be 10 times better now. You know, that's how it works.
Yeah.
She's winning with German suplexes and a torture rack bomb that she hasn't won with in I don't know a decade. But in all seriousness, I was pretty set on her winning as soon as that steel cage match ended.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys can listen to you two talk about it in real time, making it a perfect match. Was that Dylan that did that?
Yeah.
In real time, realizing it was a perfect 5. Yeah. It was like the perfect. Okay, now Tommy needs to get back to the top. I've been pretty set on her needing to beat Tam anyways for the title before that even happened. And I think we all want Utami back at the top of Stardom. I think she is somehow like 10 times more ready than she was last time, which, as we know by that title reign, it was excellent. But she is a completely different wrestler now. She's a complete wrestler now. So she's my number 1 pick. First 2-time winner ever as well. So that's a hell of an accolade for her to get.
I really thought that would be Mayu to get the first ever 2-time, but you know.
Yeah, so did I.
We're
Mayu just wins titles now and doesn't defend them, okay? And I just have to accept
it. That's fair. Dylan, who's your favorite? I imagine you, the Utami stan.
Yeah.
I got called that by you this week as well, Alex.
It's true.
I'm just throwing slurs out here, you know. That's how we do.
Utami stan is the greatest thing any person can ever be called. Yeah, I mean, Utami's the number 1, right? Like not we've already talked about WWE briefly, but she ain't a two. She's the one, right? Like she's the one. Um, it's hard to argue against her. I will argue against her for the rest of the show because while I think she is the most likely and I would probably be the happiest with her, I think there are several other options that they may go with for logistical reasons or because of what they're setting up or whatnot. I definitely I could see her not winning, but it's so easy to see her win because she should win, right? I think it's kind of clear that it's like, yeah, she like you said, she had the cage match, which was great. Um, she's always been great in every singles match she gets. She just hasn't really gotten many post her run with the red belt, and she's typically really great. I would say like last winter she really turned it up with the Mayu match and with the Kyrie match especially post the 5 star. Those two were just incredible. She had a rough 5 star last year because she was in the red block, and the red block wasn't very good last year. Um, but I would say since then, anytime you really see Utami in a highlighted spot, she delivers. And yeah, I just think you could definitely see her return to form. She is the ace, I would say. I mean, Mayu's is the icon, and she is the ace because I feel like Utami is almost as inignorable as Mayu is right now. Um, and yeah, I just definitely see her winning this. It, I'm interested to talk about the final day and how she wins it because I feel like that's where a lot of uh, difference in the situation will occur is on that final day with two matches specifically. Uh, but yeah, as of now, my thinking is Utami. It was hard to arrive at that though. I was thinking over it a lot
Yeah,
yesterday.
well, you get a top three, so you can we'll have other
Yeah,
contenders. But yeah, my number one is also Utami. It was very early on the Utami is beaten Tam train. Uh,
you
like as
were.
soon as she lost to Micah, I remember being like, this is the start of something for Utami, and they've followed that up obviously with the Queen's Quest turmoil and sending her abroad, and presumably setting her up as the GP winner. And even if she doesn't win the GP, she is winning the belt in spring next year or whenever they do it. Um, so yeah, I mean it's hard to look beyond her because all signs point to her being back on top of the mountain very soon. And the easiest way to do that is winning the GP and then beating Tam at the big year-end show because Utami versus Tam isn't a match that they've done on that kind of big pay-per-view main event level yet. It's always been in tournaments, so it's still one of their kind of bigger protected matches that they still have. So I definitely see them running with Utami and Tam just as that big December show main event to really try and sell as many tickets as they can. So I think her
You
winning
know,
is just the easiest solution.
sorry to interrupt. I'm pretty sure Tam was like her first singles match or post Kiona, like her second singles match.
Potentially.
Utami's. Because like I think back to the 2018 Grand Prix, and that was one of her first.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, her second singles match ever, her second match ever was against Tam. So I think that's kind of a cool full
Tam
circle
thread is
moment
gonna
that
go
they could play into if
crazy.
they do wind up winning that. Oh yeah,
Oh
oh
my.
yeah. It's like you beat me when you had a match under your belt, and that's scary. Because Utami did win that
Of
match, by the
course.
way. Second match she beat Tam, which is it's perfect. I'm gonna be real. It was a good match back in the day, but that's perfect. I think that is a thread you can kind of jump into with Tam versus Utami. Is that yeah they haven't really had a big match, but they have been together the
Mhm.
entire time, right? They've always been around each other in a certain way. They've always just kind of like intersected with each other because they've been on the same roster for roughly the same amount of time. I think Tam had a year on her, roughly, um, before she came to Stardom a year earlier. But it is definitely something you could dive into for a big year end show.
Definitely. My number two favorite is actually Saya Kamatani. I think a lot of people are overlooking
Mm,
Saya, but it's largely just to me the easy, December main event is Saya versus Tam. I feel like would they want to do another big Saya versus Tam match because they obviously have a lot of history together and they've had the big matches before for the white belt. So now that you've built Saya up with her, record-breaking reign, have her win the GP, and then you have her challenge Tam, and it is just this clash of two titans with a lot of history, and that's exactly the kind of match Tam would really sink her teeth into. And I mean, Saya, of all people, deserves that kind of main event of a big year-end show after the title run she had. So she's my like second favorite. I don't think it would be insane to see her win. And who's your number two?
I think it's a bit early for Saya,
But yeah.
personally. Just based
You know,
on
she's older than Utami.
That's true, she is. But I don't know. I feel like they like to give you a second to breathe between the white belt and the Grand Prix. At least that's how I view it. Unless Julia was meant to win that one year
No, I
when
don't
she
think
got
so.
injured. Who knows? I doubt it though. Yeah. My number two is Suzu. Yeah, my number two is Suzu. I feel like we've kind of been waiting for Suzu to do something big, and I'm kind of ready for it. I think that if they want to be real ballsy with it, they can just shoot her to the moon, give her the Hana run, give her the Hana win. She doesn't necessarily have to beat Tam year end. I would love it if she beat Tam year end, but I think Suzu is the win for if they are kind of doing a disconnected story from Tam, right? A disconnected story, and this is a Suzu story and not a overarching story like a grandiose like, oh, Tommy, wins it after having these years of build up. If the 5-star this year is just kind of meant to make someone, which they weren't able to do for the Cinderella, uh, I would definitely be cool with it. I think Suzu is a stellar choice. We're, it's gonna come down to ultimately I have two finals in mind, and Suzu is in the one that doesn't have Utami in it, right? So I definitely see a Suzu win as possible here. I would say it pretty much comes down to her and Saya in the red block. Like I feel like that match that they have last day, I believe, that's the match that's going to decide it pretty much, like the entire tournament. Because if it's not
Yeah.
Suzu, it's Saya. When it comes to red block, but yeah, I would say Suzu's my number two. And plus, it's nice to get a little like blue block as my number one, red block as my number two, and then we'll get into
All
the
right,
third one.
Scott, who's your number two?
I was really hoping no one picked Suzu. I was really hoping
You could
Dylan
pick her
was
too.
I know, but that's not as fun.
You
The
guys
kind
have
of way
Suzu
I
as a
look.
genuine favorite?
What? Let me.
I didn't.
No,
Did I
sorry.
finish talking?
Like,
Did I even say it? Did I even say who I picked yet? I was just I'm trying to be unique here, and I feel salted in a lot of. I'm just kidding. So I look at the final night in like a very interesting way because to me, only two matches decide the blocks. That's Julia and Utami. That's Saya and Suzu. Well, by the way, the final night is fantastic. I'm not saying it's not, but those two matches I feel like are really going to be your deciders. That being said,
I think you're missing out on two, but go on.
all right, well, just okay. Jeez. Like I don't even know why I'm here. Let me talk. God, I
My
didn't say it.
bad.
I didn't say a word. My number two is actually Micah.
Yeah.
Micah's in an interesting spot, obviously this year. She just suffered her first loss in who knows how long. I'm sure someone knows. Peps, you probably know.
Peps knows. Peps knows. It's 200 something days.
Yeah, but her first loss, that was to Julia. She wasn't happy about it. Her and Suzu have talked about meeting in the finals. And I think if Suzu were to win this tournament, you would be more likely to see Suzu and Micah, maybe, than maybe an Utami and Suzu, because I don't know why you would beat Utami in the final. I think Micah's someone that they're really trying to build up, especially after that Jamaica retirement. They've kind of went full force into the idea that maybe she will move on from DDM and form something with Suzu, right? Because her, Suzu and May Sarah, they continue to team. They continue to have a interesting relationship that I don't think we really know where it's going in, and I think that's part of the fun. Micah is someone who I don't think though makes all the sense for that year-end event. Personally, but I'm just going based off of how they're booking this year. Who would I pick number 2? I don't want to pick the same people as you guys either, so that's not, I gotta be a little different here. But just based off booking itself, she's going to have a very strong tournament. She's going to come down to that final night in contention. And if she were to get to the final, I would look at it and say, well, why not Micah? If you want to make someone, Micah is one of the people you can really make. Has she ever been in contention on the final night?
Yes.
Was that last year?
Last year she was in contention until her match started.
Right.
Literally the match
Yeah.
before hers knocked her and Hameka out of contention.
Okay.
So she was in contention last year. I want to say she was in contention either 2020 or 2021 as well. But I don't remember.
Yeah, so I think this is the year, especially with the matchup with Mariah, you can either have her advance by beating Mariah, have her beat Mariah and still come up short because of Julia and Utami. But for me, she's going to be one of the focal points of this entire tournament. So I really think it's Utami and nobody else, truthfully. So like picking 2 and 3 for me is just like whatever. But if there's someone to focus on, if they want to make someone, I think Micah has a real shot. And remember, she's very popular domestically. I've that Nanai you versus what the hell are they called? Mahime. Yeah, I see. That tells you how much I remember Hameka already.
Wow.
What is with Stardom Quest and Hameka slander? This is like the 3rd week in a row.
Well, not my problem. But that was really like a breakout moment for her. I think it made a lot of people realize how over she truly is domestically, and I think that's makes it exciting for her. Again, I don't think she's winning. I think it's Utami and nobody else, but Alex is asking me for 2 other options, so there you go.
You could always forfeit them. Like I don't mind. I know not everybody has 3. But yeah, I think with
I'm not gonna make myself believe in Momo
listen,
if that's what people
nobody
want
should
me
do
to
that
do.
anymore.
I'm not
No,
delusional.
Momo, I don't think Momo's breaking
Yeah.
even, y'all. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, she's gonna have a
And
tough
my
one.
only pause with Micah is I don't know if her versus Tam is like that match, especially for a big year-end
agree.
show. And I also don't think she beats Tam, which is the issue. If Micah wins the tournament, I want her to win the belt.
It wouldn't be a bad thing for like, the tournament winner not to win every year.
Yeah, but she's one that should.
See, but
What do we
but
get, 3 straight?
and that's
We
my
get 3 straight right now?
I think so.
That's yes. Julia, Shuri, year before that was
Like I said, I'm Utami and
yeah.
nobody else, truthfully. But I'm
Yes.
helping name options
That's
here.
fair, yeah. Scott, do you want to give a number 3 or do you want to just like forfeit it and we'll move on?
No, I'm gonna give another one. I can hear myself talk. I'll have my
I know you have
Dylan
like
moment.
10 shows. You must love your voice.
Why not Julia?
Yeah.
That's gonna be my third option.
I guess.
I'm going to sit here and I'm gonna say why
because it's
not
Julia, man.
Julia. I think it would be crazy to just completely discount her. I've heard Saya, I've heard Suzu, I've heard Utami. The 4th and the big deciders on that final night is Julia. And Julia is someone who obviously they love doing Tam and Julia. That wouldn't be crazy to me if they said, let's run it back. I think
sick. That's a
well,
sick
I'm just saying if they wanted to go from Tam back to Julia, because I remember when Tam won, I think everyone was like, okay, well, Julia's gonna get in the reign. It's just a matter of does she beat Tam or does she beat whoever beats Tam. I don't think it would be crazy for Stardom to push one of their most popular wrestlers for 2 straight tournaments. Julia is someone that I don't think, we've went into the past 2 years thinking she's a favorite, if not the favorite. Last year, we pretty much didn't even do a real show. We were just like, well, Julia won, so why the hell are we here? This year, I think a lot of people are discounting Julia. She's a double champion right now, obviously. But one of those belts just was made for Mercedes Moné, and the other belt is a trios belt, so that doesn't really affect me. I just think it's fair to kind of look past her because she's the reigning 5-star Grand Prix winner. But if we want to talk about matches that they would do at that year-end event, I mean, folks, it's gonna Julia and Tam, they will do it 10 times out of 10 if you give them the choice because it will deliver for them
It would
every
be
time.
would be kind of insane if they ran Mariah back to back and Julia back to back.
It would be.
Yeah.
But, Tony Storm won twice in a year. They can
I
do
could see it
anything.
though.
Yeah. Yeah.
If Tony Storm can win the 5-star
Yeah.
and Cinderella, anything can happen.
See, Scott, the issue is you're making too
I
much
know
sense.
I
I
am.
don't really like it.
You guys asked me for a
Um,
third option. She's probably my second option if I actually thought about this for more than 5 seconds.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you haven't yet say, "Tell me when I'm
Just-
telling lies."
I
Yeah.
had it
Seems
ready,
like
but I was
something
trying to keep my CM
immediately.
Punk stuff away. I'm really trying to be good. I really was, but
Oh
yeah,
man.
tell me when I'm telling lies.
See, it is frustrating because like I'd never want to see Julia Tam ever again, but that would probably make more sense than anybody else. Is Julia beating Tam back for the belt? Um, and I hate that. So I'm gonna pretend like that's just not even a possibility. Bam, bam, non-factor. You know what I mean? Um, did you have anything more to say about Julia, or shall I
No. I
pick up?
think
It's up to
I
you.
think the only reason she may not win is depending where they want to do the Mercedes Monet match, truthfully.
Yeah,
And
and I think
going
it would be
back to
hard
back,
for her to lose.
obviously. But
Yeah, I think it would be hard for her to lose to Mercedes if she has
right.
that.
Right.
I mean, unless they do it at Wrestle Kingdom, which I know me, you, and I imagine Alex don't
No, I
want
want a real match.
for
I
them
don't want
to
a
run.
5-second
Yeah, exactly.
extravaganza. Thank you.
Which, if anybody's gonna get that, it's the Mercedes, but you never really
Kyrie
know.
and Tam was pretty
Um,
beast for the 4 seconds that it was.
yeah, it was like 5 minutes, and it was quite good. It was one of Tam's best matches this year. Um, yeah. So my number 3 is no surprise, it's Micah. Uh, kind of echoing Scott's sentiment, but also a bit more passionately, because
Yeah, there was no passion.
I have felt that Micah is a favorite for a long time, and this is kind of the Utami thing with Alex, right? Alex said months ago, "Oh, I think Utami's winning the 5-star," and I'm just like, "Well, I feel like Micah has to at least get to the final. Like, there's no doubt in my mind at that point, And this is like right after Himeka retired, right around I think Himeka's retirement. I think it was her match with Himeka that I was like, okay, she's she's moving up. She's going to the 5-star final. Now with the blocks the way they are, my initial thought was Mike Utami final. That's not possible. They're both in blue. Excuse me. I have a lot of phlegm for some reason, of course, when I'm trying to talk.
Yeah, you said phlegm
But I
on
feel
air.
like
That's disgusting.
okay.
Dylan had no idea. He was like, I just got like assaulted, smacked.
I was trying to talk
That's
through
what
this, man.
that's what you get because every time I tried to talk earlier, I got attacked by both of you.
True. That's true. I don't accept
Tell me
names.
when I'm telling
Oh
lies.
God, Dylan, look what just started.
Man,
It's
now.
done. You
Okay.
started it. It's done. It's over.
See, there's no way
Yes,
that this
you
is a
did- you
Dylan
brought it
started
up.
it moment. This is
It
not
is
a Dylan
though
started
because I
moment.
wasn't gonna say it.
I coughed.
Oh, but you brought
I
up the CM
coughed.
Punk quote,
Okay,
and now he's gonna do it. You poked the
okay,
bear.
that's true. That's true. That's true. Never bring up CM Punk. That's true. Um, yeah, I think Micah has been like in contention for me for months now, and I think the Julia loss, Julia pinning her, kind of even fueled that in a way because I was like, okay, she needs to get one back on Julia now in the 5-star, and so I see that happening, and Micah Suzu kind of making a pact to go to the final. I can see that happening. I think that ultimately, like I said, I'm going to argue against Utami a lot this episode just because like she's kind of the one that you kind of see the most and is the most likely. I think Utami might go after the international belts. Um i.e. the IWGP and the New Japan Strong. That's something that I could definitely see is her beating Mayu
Doesn't
for the
exist.
IWGP belt.
Doesn't exist.
Well, when it does,
Mariah
it'll
May's got
eventually exist
dibs.
again. Okay, yes, but after Mariah May's not even in the same block as Mayu. There's no precedent there. I would love it. Don't get me wrong, but it's a tough sell. Um, I see Utami going after maybe the international belts. Her and Julia last day could lead to a them feud if it means that neither of them go through. I think Micah wins blue block if I think she wins it like Godo, which is not a great. Which is always it's rough because Micah has so many comparable moments to Godo, but I think Godo against Omega, where Okada and Tanahashi just took each other out, or was it that? I believe, yeah. Godo and Tanahashi took each other out. Godo advanced because they drew, and he got like one extra point. Goes through. I think Micah could win out of that, but like I said, I have Suzu over Micah in the final if that is the final. So, I think Micah's a definite possibility, but she's going down in possibility in comparison to some others. Because like Suzu, I did not point out until very recently.
All right,
in this
I have to say, when you said a them feud, I chuckled to myself because I was like, a them feud? The non-binaries are fighting. Stop, please. I just,
Oh,
I
brother.
had a funny comment about Micah, but
oh
I think I
no.
lost it. So
Okay.
you're lucky, Dylan.
Yeah, I had a chuckle to myself over that.
If it comes to me, Alex, just be
All
prepared
right,
to
that's
get cut
cool.
off.
That's cool. So my number 3, and I'm surprised she hasn't come up yet, is Saori.
Oh, I remembered it. I remembered it. I remembered it. I remember it.
Go ahead.
You know
The
what? She's
timing on
probably
that,
not going to
crazy.
win. She'll
Go on.
probably just lose to Mariah in a Wonder of Stardom title match. All right, continue.
Incredible.
Man, we
Incredible.
Be
don't need
kind
to
of
do
beast
that
though,
again.
because like Mariah would just probably break her with a lariat, and I would win.
Up they are.
They are.
Her
They are.
lariat's
Shout out Koguma for the sell.
Hell yeah. All right. Yeah, my number 3 is Saori Anou. She is joining this company sooner rather than later, and when she does, she is beating the shit out of Tam. And yeah, I mean,
Nice.
I feel like that is the most obvious red belt match you can do right now. Tam loves her storytelling. They go back to actress girls. Like, this is the perfect Tam red belt match, and I think Saori Anou is she's an obvious star, and there's no better way to put that over than by having her win the GP and then probably losing to Tam, but you'd still establish her as a big player in the process.
Wait, so you picked Anu
Yeah, I don't see
over
Suzu winning it. Yeah,
Suzu?
I don't really know. I have no feel for Suzu.
Suzu's signed,
Listen,
Alex.
Anu is as good as
Suzu
signed.
is in the
She's
company.
locked in. To be fair,
And also one of these people are about to lose to Mariah May in a tag team title match. And one of them is
Okay,
not.
and
yeah.
Or
what
think
are
that.
alternatively,
what are you like fighting for the deathmatch girl for? She's not like I have no read on her. We have no read on her. She doesn't even have a faction.
okay.
Like, how is she gonna win a tournament when she doesn't have a faction?
Well,
she'll
all
have a
right.
faction
Time out. I will back up Dylan in that like she has a really good chance of making the final. So like by default, maybe that gives her just a better chance. Is that fair, Dylan? Is that like your headspace?
Yeah.
All right.
No, I think I'm more so like
Why
I don't
not?
see Anu winning this.
She's
Like
right
I
there.
can't see a world where she does. Because either
She just main evented a
she
pay-per-view.
loses
She's
to Mariah May in a tag title match,
she's right there. You know who's
or
also right
she
there?
is tag team champion.
Saori Anou, she's in the group. She is staring daggers at Tam Nakano every chance she gets. She just main evented a pay-per-view. Like,
Yeah, but Dylan is too, and he's not
Yes.
winning the 5-star Grand Prix.
he's not right there.
That's also true.
That's true.
I'm right here. So it counts for something. No, I think Anu has a great run, but I feel like Mina shuts her down last day. Like or the other way around, where Mina's about to make
Someone
it
should have
and
picked Mina.
Anu completely shuts her
Slay.
down. I think they both kind of shut each other down, probably. See, and I don't know. I feel like that is the tag stuff right now. I mean, I don't think
Tag
that
stuff
Anu's
now.
about
This
to
tournament ends in
win
like
the tournament.
October. Like, come on.
Yeah, but either Anu wins or she
Yeah.
loses that tag match, and I don't.
That
think
is how
she
wrestling
wins
works.
it, which okay, this is ridiculous. You thought it was gonna be me hijacking the show. This is motherfucker Scott Edwards.
All right.
This is because my first time talking, I got attacked. You're done now.
Okay, attacked. Jesus. Okay. No, I think Anu. either I can't say it like that. Okay, my bad. I think Anu, when she wins that tag belt, I don't think that she has a lot of room to be winning the 5-star. I don't think that's where she's at yet. I think her and Natsupoi are getting the Tam run, the Meltier run they had last year.
but better.
You know what I mean? And then Anu maybe next year can challenge someone. You know what I mean? I think that's also where the Utami not winning, I think that also aids in Utami not winning, is that you're right. I think Anu does have a very valid challenge against Tam, but she's not in the same block as Tam. And I don't know if they're going to run her winning this entire tournament for her to challenge Tam. But she should challenge Tam. So I don't know if Tam loses the belt year end, right? That's what I'm trying to get at. I just don't see Anu as a winner here.
Well,
I used to, but I think the Natsupoi match, kind of made me realize, okay, this is a team story. This is Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. This isn't Jay
man.
Uso. um, I'm kidding there. I'm kidding there. It's a team story. It's a Cosmic Angel story. It's not a Anu, surpassing Cosmic Angels in her first 3 months type of thing. That's how I see it, at least.
Well, that's okay. Does anybody have any wild cards to win? Because I have one. I have a spicy one. Do you guys have one?
Ooh, you have a
Yeah.
spicy one? Well, I'll let
All
you
right.
cook up first.
So my
I
wild
have one
card
too,
to
yeah.
win is actually Tam.
All right.
Like obvious.
Oh, stop it!
Because
All right,
yeah,
all
see,
right. I'm taking over
no,
the show again.
yeah.
It's too
See,
spicy,
I
too
would hate it,
spicy, too
but
spicy.
if they are really going all in on this, making Tam, making this Tam run the best, biggest run possible, there's literally no better way to do that than have her win the GP while champion and, picking her challenger. Like that is, it
Hear,
just,
Bro,
hear me out.
that is
yes,
Joker
obviously.
moment
Hear
inducing.
me out though. You said like they wanted to make this like the biggest run possible. She got rolled up by Mariah in her first defense of the Wonder Belt.
Yeah, but
so.
she also joined Mayu as the only, double red white belt champion ever. So,
But she should.
Not in my
she
book.
also
Not in
she
my
won
book,
the
pal.
main event of Yokohama Arena. It's kind of a big deal. So yeah, I feel like they're going all in on Tam,
Disgusting.
and it's not outside the realm of possibility.
Okay,
That's why she's a wild card.
This is painful.
I don't even disagree with you. I don't even disagree with you necessarily.
It was spicy.
Because I wish I wish I disagreed with you. I think Tam and Julia are the ones that I'm just like, please, let's just not do that. But the thing is that we talked about this either last week or the week before that. It's like Stardom is very weird this year because they're kind of throwing stuff at the wall since there's no restrictions. It's all cheering. They're willing to do stuff, just kind of to do stuff, and uh, and pop the crowd, or whatever you want to call it. They're moving in a different way than they have been in the past few years. So a Tam win here, I could see. But I also think that, again, similarly to Julia winning and being the second back-to-back winner this year, with Mariah, champion winning the tournament. I know nobody remembers them, but Prominence winning the Triangle Derby, as champions. I
A
feel like
fake
that's a
tournament.
story you already
Doesn't count.
ran.
Fake tournament.
It was a fake tournament. Okay,
The
yes.
final was
Yeah,
a great show.
I
true.
agree. Great show. One of the best shows of the year. But I agree. Fake tournament. It wasn't really much of anything, especially since they just discarded Prominence the second that Susan said she'd sign. But that's besides the point. I do think that's kind of repeating that. And I also just don't think Tam really. I don't think that's the precedent you want to set. Honestly, I feel like Tam winning the tournament as champion would just be kind of like messy,
Her
almost, because there's
her
like
being
nothing for
double
her to do
champion
at
was
that point.
messy.
Like,
They did it anyway. That's the thing.
yeah, they already
That's the
they get
thing.
one.
I
They get
just
one.
don't put
That's how I
I
feel.
don't
They
put
get
anything
one. Let's
past
just
them with
not run
Tam
it again.
right now. That's just my thinking. Like I don't want this to happen.
Okay,
It
that's fair.
wouldn't be the best option, but I don't put anything past them when it comes to Tam Nakano right now. So
That's fair. My wild card, and this will hopefully calm Scott down a little bit, is Mayu. I think
Yeah.
that, like, Mayu just pulling it out of her ass and just be like, "Fuck it, I want my 2." Like, just like I can see it. She hasn't challenged Tam yet. I mean, she isn't going to challenge Mariah, I don't think, but she has it in her pocket. Like she can
Yes.
do. She's Mayu. I don't need to explain it.
Is
She's Mayu.
Mayu.
She is Mayu. Like that's all you really need to say.
She beat Mercedes
I will
Monet.
say I think Mayu's story here is different. I think Mayu's story is a bit more. It's tied to Starlight Kid more than anything, and we'll talk about that and like some of our just like day by day predictions almost. Not too much of that, but just I think there are certain matches that you kind of need to point out. But I can see a Mayu win. Like I feel like Mayu is way more pivotal in her block than people are giving her credit for. I think she's going to be a pretty big deal. Um, she'll probably lose first day to Hazuki, but there are a lot of matches that it's kind of hard for her to lose. I'm gonna be real. Like like there are people who can beat her, but I just feel like she's gonna be high up there, and she could just find herself, um, at least in the finals, and maybe a winner. Like I think it's very realistic that she does that, though I don't think it's necessarily
Yeah, and the
probable.
thing
That's
with
why she's in
Mayu
finals.
is they very clearly really want to do a World of Stardom versus IWGP Women's Champion match. Like Julia and Mercedes teased it, Mayu and Tam have teased it. They really want to do a match for those two belts, and Mayu winning the GP opens the door to that if that's what they want to do. So, yeah, I don't see her being like a
Yeah, that's
crazy
cool.
pick either. If they are promised a good spot on Wrestle Kingdom, maybe they do it there instead of the year-end show. I don't really know, but it is definitely a match they would want to do. Is Mayu with her belt and Tam with hers in a match, definitely. Scott, you didn't have a wild card. You weren't.
I do have
Oh,
one
you
actually.
do.
I do
All
have one.
right,
Thank you.
let's hear it.
But just on the Mayu point, real
I
quick.
do have one.
I
Thank you. You're such a
I just
bitch. I love him.
So
I just
sassy
want to
today.
point
So
I just
sassy
want to point
today.
something out that Mayu and Mercedes Monet 2 will happen, and it'll probably be for both belts. So
It's true.
whether she wins the 5-star or not, yeah,
Oh yeah, the
yeah,
strong
I'm
and
pretty
the
sure that's
IWGP.
where they're all building to down the road.
Yeah.
It should be.
My
It should be.
Siri's yelling at me, so hell of a show.
This is
Hell of a
crazy.
show.
This is crazy. This is crazy.
Oh boy.
Oh my
Oh
god.
boy. I'm gonna take my watch off before it starts talking to me more.
This is incredible. We get the professional podcaster out
Yeah,
here.
you're
This is the
gonna
most
ring post
chaotic show
radio
we've
me,
had in
bud.
years.
You're not getting my usual shows. No. Nay.
I love it. I
Anyways, my
love it.
pick
I love it.
was Mina Shirakawa.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Slay.
we keep talking about like storyline reasoning. What storyline makes more sense than Mina Shirakawa coming back and beating Tam Nakano after Tam Nakano took the Wonder of Stardom title away from her? Now, of course, Mina Shirakawa wasn't supposed to win the Wonder of Stardom championship once upon a time, but she willed her way there. We're at the point now where Mina's one of the best. Mina's one of the most popular. Mina has a story with Tam. We're thinking of why not reasons. Why not Mina? 5 stars kind of her tournament in terms of improving every year and getting better. I don't know how much better she can get. She's been pretty great this year, but that match with Saori on the final night should have meaning. Could be the second most important match of the Blue Stars block on that final night. So just wanna toss Mina out there. I think she deserves a little respect. She's probably not gonna win, but I just want to say, why not Mina? The Tam connection's perfect.
Lay the house down.
Alex is sold. That's the one he actually wants to know. He's like, no, forget everything we just said. Mina wins.
Listen, man,
There was a time.
if it were me,
Not everyone knows this. Alex, I'm sorry, I have to expose you.
All
There
right.
was a second where Alex was very much considering Mina as
Just a
his
second.
favorite wrestler over Takumi and Tomoka. Then he watched Takumi and Tomoka kick their heads off and was like, all right, never mind. But there was a second there. And I think that's meaningful.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, Alex texted me the same thing. He said, "Oh, I think Mina might be my new favorite wrestler." I'm just like, "New, bro. I've had to deal with you talking about this chick every week. I know she's your favorite wrestler."
You hit him with the Otami realization, but with Mina. Nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
just I thought a lot of it was like slightly ironic, like I loved the dance and I was just here for the dance. Like I don't care about the rest. The dance is great. And then she started doing
work himself
these
into a
like
shoe
fucking
as a Mina Shirakawa fan.
enzigiris and rebound kicks, and I was like, oh my god, yes, So it just crept up on me really. But yeah, listen, if it's me,
You
Mina
know,
Shirakawa is getting the Tam run. She's getting all the belts. I don't give a fuck. Like give her
we'll,
give her
we'll, d-
everything.
we'll dive into it tomorrow when we actually do like the show. Uh, she, I got it. I got her limb work
God
all
bless.
together when she
Oh
wrestled
my
May
god.
Sarah. I was
Praise.
like, makes sense. It all makes sense to me now. It like I get it. This is perfect.
What
And yeah,
what
Hallelujah.
a
Disney doesn't
random one to
give you
make you
credit for
get it.
that.
But okay.
Hallelujah. All right.
May Sarah's a great seller. Let's be real.
On to the next kind of topic of discussion. It's a pretty loaded field this year. I think that's safe to say. There are
Hmm.
19 dogs, and then there is Amisore. That's right.
Who
And
could?
listen, Amisore,
Maybe.
I just wanted to say Amisore. That's right.
You
I
should
won't
have hit
lie.
him with the tell me when I'm telling lies. You did say it. Oh, it was perfect.
Dag nabbit, I missed my chance. But yeah, like 20 were good to great to excellent pro wrestlers, some of which could lay claim to being the best in the world today. Um, when it is all said and done, who emerges as like the clear-cut tournament MVP? And Dylan, you always have the most cracked takes on this sort of stuff, so I want to go to you first. Who do you believe will be the tournament
Clear cut.
MVP when all is said and done?
Clear cut is tough because
See, I knew you
I,
were going to be the correct response. You're already.
no, because I'm the type of person. I'm the type of person who thinks, oh, Hanan has a lot of like potential great
Of course
matches in
you
her,
would.
and like for the first
This is
time.
why I went to
That's
you
You know what I
first.
insane.
mean?
See, I knew.
But that's
I
why.
knew.
Insane.
But she's not my one. She's not my clear and
I love
away.
Hana, but that's
Uh,
insane.
Probably Suzu. I would probably say Suzu. I feel like, but it's also hard because Red Block is a lot of what Blue Block was last year.
Hey, don't name every wrestler, please.
I'm not going to. I might name one more, but I'm going to go with Suzu for right now.
Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, I mean, like it's going to be a bit rough because a lot of these matches aren't first time matches anymore. So you kind of have to like do something more than you did last year. And last year she had a really great tournament. Um, but I don't know. I feel like once she gets something to sink her teeth into, like this 5-star, I think that she'll really deliver. Um, Sai as well, but I think mainly Suzu. Is
Are
that
we
good?
unearthing some
Was I
like
allowed to?
new feelings for you with Suzu? Like you are all over
Oh,
her
I've
today.
I've always loved Suzu.
Okay.
I
I
think
didn't realize it was to
I
this
think all
degree.
three of us
I'm
I
surprised.
think all three of us
Susan's
have
my
kind of
second favorite wrestler, and I haven't
yeah.
talked about her for like 2
It's true.
seconds.
But no, I think all
Or
three of us have
Mayu. You
kind of
named both of my favorite
I did.
wrestlers.
I did.
It's crazy.
No, I think we've all talked about how it's like when is Suzu going to get something to grab onto? And I think like the second
True.
that she is given a handle, she's going to grab it, like so to speak. So I think this is what
Nice.
she needs. This is what she's going to
All
get.
right.
Like this is like here's 8 wrestlers or 9 wrestlers that are relatively good. I'm sure she can even
You
get a
were
good
right with
match out
8.
of Ami. Yeah, eight wrestlers that are quite good. Um, that you can get good matches out of. Suzu's a great character wrestler as well. I think she can get a great match out of like a Natsuko, for example. That not necessarily everybody can. I think Natsuko's great, but I think she's a stylistic wrestler. Certain wrestlers are not going to thrive against her. I think Suzu can. I think Suzu can thrive against most of her block. I don't see a single match that I think, oh, that's not going to be very good, or oh, that's going to be a little bit mediocre, except for the Ami one. And even there, maybe they just hit each other, and that'll be cool. Like it's always a possibility. Like I see very little flaws in Suzu's game in this tournament because she has a lot of good dancing partners in it.
All right. Fair enough. Scott, how about you?
People, why are we making this difficult?
You're gonna
Come
steal
on
mine,
now.
aren't you? I just know it.
I probably am. But listen. Someone has the weakest matchup in the Red Stars block on the final day. So by then, everyone will forget. Shuri. Why aren't we just saying
Oh,
Shuri?
you didn't steal
Let's
it.
just like,
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't steal it. No, I'm just going to sit here and be real. Like, why isn't it Shuri? Shuri still had a great tournament in last year's Red Stars block, which I think we can all agree was pretty weak.
Pulled that shit. She pulled
Yeah.
that shit.
Now she's kicking off her tournament at Suzu Suzuki. I think that'll be pretty good, personally. She's gonna have matches with Hazuki. I think she always has good match with Tam. She'll have a match with Natsupoi, Starlight Kid. Natsuko Tora should be interesting. She'll probably get the best match out of Ami Sarai in the entire tournament, just because she'll have a care to do so. Oh, and then, Mayu and Saya Kamatani, just to toss those in there. I don't want to bet against Shuri. I don't like betting against Shuri. Alex had this great point like a month or two ago. Shuri is coming into this tournament rested. She's pretty much done nothing majority of the year outside of fight Chihiro Hashimoto. And that match was great.
True.
So, yeah, I'm just going to go with Shuri. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to pick someone that I don't think's winning, but I think is just going to go out there and do what she does. And I look forward to it.
All right. Well, the way you were leaning up, I thought you were going to take mine because mine is also somewhat obvious. I think, potential winner. She's coming into this with a head of steam. She also hasn't really done a whole lot since losing the title, and it's Utami. I feel like she's gonna have something to prove here.
Oh, I don't pick winners.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
so easy.
well, I think
pick
Utami's
winners,
gonna have
whatever.
something out there to prove. She also has some good matches lined up. Her and Mariah, amazing. Her and Micah, amazing. Her and Julia on the last day is gonna leave quite the impression. She has a match with Momo Watanabe, which is kind of picking up a cool feud. Her and Azumi, they always work well together. So I think Utami is going to emerge as like one of the best tournaments out of everybody. But also, I think Natsupoi has a great chance of really delivering. Everybody she's lined up with works with
Real
her.
original.
Like Natsupoi and Hazuki seems amazing. We know her and Starlight Kid, or not Starlight Kid, Sai Kamatani. They're one of the best matches of last year. Scott, you absolutely
Definitely not Starlight Kid.
Scott, you absolutely adored any exchange between Natsupoi and Mayu. Natsupoi and Tam, if they don't indulge in Tam Road. Yeah, and Natsupoi and Saori. I mean, this block is set up for Natsupoi to just have like a killer run. So yeah, my MVP candidates are Utami and Natsupoi, who are both very good at this pro wrestling thing.
I was gonna make a crazy declaration later that Utami was gonna have a better tournament than Shuri in 2021, but it's fine.
That's a rough. I don't know if you can do that.
I said it was crazy.
No, I'm saying I don't know if a wrestler is capable of doing that. Not if you can do that. If a wrestler is capable
Utami's
of doing that.
different this year.
It's true.
It
Future
just
goat.
like if her final night is Julia and Suzu or Saya,
We ball.
it's the closest thing I have to matching
That is
Takumi and
fair.
Momo. It's the closest thing.
That's a
can
very
think of.
fair point. Well, let's keep the fun going. All right. There's 90 plus matches in this tournament. So
91, right?
yeah. So
91.
I mean, again, going back to the top three, I like my top threes. What are your the three best matches that you're looking at as these are going to be the best of the best? I know that I sprung this on you, so I'll go first. Give you time to think.
A little bit.
So the number one match that I think is going to be the best, and this is a very obvious choice, it's the final day, Julia and Utami Hayashishita. I think on pure aura alone, that is just going to be special. Even if they hold back for an eventual big match, I think just seeing them square off is going to be so special that it is going to be one of the best matches of the entire tournament. So I think far and away, that's like the number one match for me that I look at and go, that is going to be something else entirely.
See, but them holding back is going to happen, and I think that's where my fear comes in. Like the match is going to be good regardless, but best of the tournament, I'm fearful because it's gonna be a draw. I think we might all agree on that. It's probably gonna be a draw, and they're definitely gonna hold back because it's not the last match they're gonna have together. So I am a little bit cautious about like naming that in a top three, but
All right,
I'm
that
not
is fair.
disappointed.
My number two match that I'm looking forward to is Mai versus Tam. I think they pretty much always deliver, and they haven't wrestled in a long time, so they're gonna have a lot stored up to do. I don't know where that is. That might be the only issue, but I imagine it's on a big show.
It's on a
Okay,
Cork,
they're gonna burn the house down. It's fine. All right, they're gonna have to rebuild Cork, and after that's done, so we're okay there. So yeah, my number two is Mayu and Tam.
That's kind of screwed up to say.
Oh yeah, Tam Mayu is on the 15th.
Hell
I believe,
yeah,
so,
listen, they're gonna have
yeah.
to rebuild that building afterwards. So we're winning. My number three.
The Cork is
Yes, it
insane,
is.
by the way.
My number three. There's so many. There's so fucking many. I think it's probably gonna be opening day, Mina versus Utami. Because
I was looking at that one actually.
like
I was like, I feel like they're gonna
I
go
am
with that.
very questionable over Mina's tournament as a whole. I think she might lean on the submission stuff for the the middle portions. But if there's anywhere she's going to be at peak form, it will be the opening day. And I think her versus Utami, with how they both are currently, could absolutely just be amazing. So those are my top three. Scott, I suppose we'll go to you next. If you have yours ready.
I didn't.
We
but
can
I'll
go to
act like I
Dylan
did,
first.
if that
Like
makes you feel
I can give you
better.
time. All right,
Yeah, go
Dylan,
to Dylan.
top
Yeah, I
three.
can figure it out.
You can just
Well,
steal mine if you really want. Like I
I'm
don't,
sorry. No, I'm not going to.
That'd be kind of funny.
This is something that I know is probably not going to be
You
too
will get a
super
chance to
great
pick
just
a
because the
sleeper match
scheduling
as
of it.
well if you want to save one. Okay.
Okay, I'll talk about that later then. I think Julia Zumi
I'm
is probably my
shocked.
number 3. Shut up.
Get him.
I think Julia Zumi is probably my number 3 because they built it up, right? And it
They did,
feels like
yeah.
they have care, right? Like it isn't a match like a random, Momo Watanabe versus Mariah May type of thing, where it's like, okay, that'll be a fun match for sure. But they don't really care about each other. You know what I mean? Like, and that's a random. I just read it off the list, but I think Julia and Azumi putting a little bit of care, being like, oh, I want to fight you type of thing, just adds a little fuel to it. And that seems like it would be a good card on the 20th of September. That looks like a good card for them to kind of show out. I mean, Utami and Mariah's there too, and Tam Shuri, but I think it's a good card for them to show out. Um, Mariah Micah as well.
Mhm.
Mariah Micah's up there,
Never open weight match.
and
Nice.
yes, exactly. And then I kind of want to say Suzu Shuri. I feel like Suzu Shuri is kind of like that match that's gonna go crazy. I mean, take a look at pretty much any of Saya Kamatani's matches as well. But I think Suzu Shuri is gonna be my number 3 in there because I just feel like that's a first time match. I'm really excited to see. You can look at pretty much any of Saya Kamatani's wipeout matches that I liked, and it'll be like, oh yeah, it's a redux of that. That'll be really really great. But I think like the ones that stand out are definitely Shuri Suzu, um, Julia Azumi, and
All right.
Micah Mirai for me. Those are kind of sleepers. Obviously there's huge matches, the uh, Utamis versus Momos and stuff like that. But I think those are kind of matches that like I'm excited for that I personally
Yeah.
find a lot of
No, that's
interest in.
fair. I think
Not
Micah and Mariah is like a definite like if they're both on their game, that would be incredible.
Oh
So yeah,
yeah,
I don't disagree there.
with the 15
God
minute time
bless.
limit, they
God
just gonna go
bless.
fucking ham.
So Scott, you cannot
I hope it's
run
15.
Yes.
anymore.
Do we know if it's 15
What's
yet?
all right.
I'm ready. So I think it's interesting because like there's matches on like smaller shows that probably would excite me more for personal taste. Um, like I think it was Hazuki and
Yeah.
Suzu was on a smaller show, and I'm sure that'll go
Mm.
crazy. But I'm gonna keep it to like the big shows because I know these are gonna deliver, guaranteed. And I think that does have a lot of sway in my feeling. I'm gonna start in the 5-star special in Hiroshima. Saya Kamatani and Hazuki are running it back, but live.
Yep.
Uh,
Ooh, is that gonna be like?
they
Ooh.
have 2 fantastic matches in the past year, one in the 5-star Grand Prix and then one for the Wonder Stardom Championship. I will happily watch them run it back because I just know their chemistry is off the charts. So I will unoriginally look forward to that one. Final night, Julia and Tommy. Obviously, it's the Julia Suzu match of last year for a lot of people. It's the big one. I think Alex really pinpointed it. Has the aura behind it. And you guys say, they'll hold back. Probably, but it's gonna be 15 minutes. And when they have a title match, it'll be, probably another 10 minutes added on. So I don't think it'll be a bad thing. Because remember, the Suzu Julia title match, I don't think personally was as good as the tournament match that they had. So
Yeah,
there's
that's true. That's true.
that thinking. And then the final match of my top 3. I don't want to be boring, so I'm not going to pick Mayu and Starlight Kid again. Even though I obviously am very much favoring that one. I'll pick a match from the first day, and I will just go with Mayu and Hazuki because when they announced that, I just said it's live. They're gonna go crazy because that's what they do. stars when they wrestle each other, it's like another level. They just connect perfectly. I think that's a match that, may not have much impact on the final day when it's all said and done because maybe they're both out of contention, truthfully. But I know that they're going to deliver. It was billed as the top match of the Red Stars block for that day, so I'm sure they'll get a top spot. I'm really looking
All
forward
right,
to that.
yeah, it's a pretty solid top three. And the thing is,
Did I pick Hazuki twice?
I don't know. Yeah,
I
yeah.
did.
Well, she is amazing.
Yes,
She is
yes.
pretty amazing. So yeah.
Which is valid.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we could have picked 10 more matches. Like this tournament is so ridiculous. There's going to be stuff that we didn't even touch on. But there will be a chance to kind of expand on it in a bit. Was the one thing that I'm wondering, because I've been pretty set on what the final might be. But what do you guys think the final could be? Dylan, again, you're cracked. Go ahead.
Jesus.
So like I think there's a lot more interest for me in the final night, just in general, than there is in the finals necessarily. Obviously, the finals is going to be great because I see it as two. Like I said, I think it's Saya Utami or it is Micah Suzu. I could also see Saya Micah, but I don't really. You know what I mean? Like if Micah's winning, I guess Micah could beat Saya, but that's like a very distant third. My big thing is how we kind of get there. So those are my two, but I think Mayu versus Kid is gonna be bigger this year. So something is I feel like they might push a draw in that one. I think this is the year that Kid finally doesn't lose to Mayu. Um and she prevents Mayu from going through by like a point, right? I think that's an interesting way to go about it. And then on the other side, it's like Momo and Azumi are kind of like the mirror of those two, and K Sisters and the Momoas. Uh, I think Azumi over Momo is going to be a big deal, and it's going to keep Momo out of contention if she's in contention at that point. I don't know. She might not break even. Probably not. Um, but yeah, I would say some combination of Saya, Utami, Micah, or Micah Suzu is my final. Obviously you can kind of figure out who wins each of those matches, right? If Micah's winning, I would put her against Saya. If Suzu's winning, I'd put her against Micah. If Utami's winning, I'd put her against Saya, type of thing.
All right,
Yeah, that's me.
Scott. I don't think I've heard anything from you about your potential finals. What's yours?
Utami and then the other person doesn't matter. No, all seriousness. I think it's going to be Utami and Saya only because I've thought
Yeah.
that for a while now. I feel like the story plays to them just having this incredible final. If it's not Saya, it's Suzu. That's kind of where I am. It's like it's just gonna be one of those two against Utami. Doesn't matter because even if Suzu loses, she does get brought up in a sense, obviously. And I think we're going away. I had this take, but I think we're going away from the secondary wrestler kind of just having no shot. That
Yeah.
makes sense,
Yeah.
right? Kind of like Hameka a few years ago. Um, mo-
I was about to bring up like, do you guys like a Hazuki can get through? Because obviously she's not going to win,
yeah, so
but
Hazuki
I
would
could
be
see her
like,
pushing type of
right.
thing.
Yeah, no, that's a good point because like Hazuki to me was someone like that, right? Someone like them. I guess
Mhm.
Momo's different because we don't
She
even
could
know
have
if she
won.
was supposed to be there to begin with. Um,
Yeah, that's true.
but like I think Hazuki would have fit that mold of like, yeah, we know she's not winning, but she would give you a good final. So I don't think she'll make it unless they're gonna go back to that because last year they did Julia and Tam. I think they want to do a meaningful match
Yeah.
in that final, more meaningful, and I feel like Utami and Saya is pretty much as meaningful as it gets between those two. Though, and this is not going to happen, but Utami and Shuri would be an interesting one to do as well.
Yes, definitely. I do agree. I feel like they've moved away from, main eventer versus slightly upper mid carder, to more like
Mhm.
we've hinted at this story based matches. Because even Momo and Suri was something that like they had wrestled earlier that year for the belts, and they went to a draw or something. So even like Momo versus Shuri was one that had build going back to the start of that year. Siri and Julia and Tam obviously is a match that they always go to, and Julia's storyline on that day was her, beating everybody that she kind of hates because she had overcome Suzu and overcame Tam. So I think this year they can continue that with Utami and Saya because I've had that as the final going back a little bit just because it's a match they've done before, so it's not like super protected. They've done it for both belts now at this stage.
Yeah.
So you can run it back and it plays into the story of the summer. And even if Utami wins, you can have Saya be like, go ahead now and win the belt. You've bested me, but win it for Queen's Quest or something like that. You can pull everything together.
See, my one, and I'm in full agreement. I think Saya or Utami over Saya makes more sense word wise. I think that makes like I'm cool with it. I think that's probably what I predict. But does it impact the story? Because like I don't know if you want to put them opposite each other right after they made amends. Like what I was about to say that, but your last line actually kind of like made me kind of question this question because it's like I do think, and we can get into like the Utami stuff very deeply because obviously two of the three of us are Utami stans, and Alex, you are a big Utami fan. But I think part of me is like, oh, I don't know if I want Utami Saya when
Yeah.
they have just made up, right? Like it might not be the smartest way to go about it. But I do also think that like Utami's kind of story right now is great in that way because, and sorry to get a little bit lore heavy with the Utami Saya stuff, but I'm going to. The issue wasn't that like the issue with Saya and Utami was originally that Saya was winning more than Utami, and Utami was losing more than Saya. That was the original issue, and then they started bickering and not getting along and couldn't work together and blah blah blah. They fixed the second part of that, but Utami still feels inferior as a
Mhm.
singles wrestler to Saya. Like she figured out the teamwork stuff. Like, yeah, they still have, miscommunications, whatever, but they figured it out. The single stuff is why she's in GCW right now. You know what I mean? So I think kind of proving to herself by beating Saya that she
Are
isn't,
you being attacked by a bird?
lesser than Saya. I think it works.
That is
There are a bunch
incredible.
of birds outside. Yes. What the fuck? Oh my! There's like 7
I
in my
was just,
backyard. That's crazy.
It sounds
yeah,
like
I
there's a
was
bird
like,
like
dude, are you
attacking you.
okay? You're like fending off a bird.
Yeah, I'm by my basement window, and they're
That's
just all by
incredible.
my. Fuck, Jesus Christ! Was not sir? If it's not Siri, it's fucking birds, man. Um, but yeah, I think that like part of me sees it, but part of me is
I
like,
do.
do you want to do that this quickly? Obviously, I kind of like argued with myself, and like I sided with you, but I do think that's an interesting kind of subject that I kind of it was making me hesitant to pick the Sai Utami final because it's like, do you want them in this high stakes singles match right after
I
they like
mean, yeah,
figured their
you
shit out
you can have
type
that
thing?
as the ultimate proof that they've, made up.
Well, to be fair, you can also play to the fact that Utami took off immediately, right?
Yeah,
Remember they were
and they've
left
lost
stunned
since.
after
They've
when
lost
she said she
without
was
her.
leaving,
Yeah.
and they've lost. So while she was able to keep Queen's Quest united and show that she could be a great leader, she still said, "Now I need to focus on myself," and you can work all that into that final night in that final match. Also, I think it would be incredible. So like, I don't need to look into the
Yeah.
story too
And
much.
the
Let's
thing
just do
is,
it because it'd be awesome. All right, like sometimes
yeah,
let's just
and the
have the
thing is,
awesome match, okay?
Saya can also win then, like if they want to go that route, if they want to have
Yeah,
Tam
yeah.
beat the GP winner and book the trend, Saya is very easy to do that with, and
Mm,
Utami can just challenge in spring, So I think a Saya Utami final also has an added edge of unpredictability where genuinely either woman could win.
yeah.
So to me, like that's the best.
Be the first time in a long
Yeah, I
time
mean, I kind of had Momo
'cause
Suri.
I didn't believe
I
Momo.
believed in
I
Momo.
didn't believe Momo. So yeah, you
I
guys
did.
tried to
I
get me.
did.
You
I mean,
tried.
in fairness, I was
You
close.
almost did.
Man, I believe in Momo every
You
time
don't believe
to
in
some
Momo
degree.
anymore.
Lesser in recent in recent moments, but I believed in Momo. I mean, I believed in Momo against
Oh
like
God,
from
yeah,
Donnie earlier last year.
That was this
Last year,
year, believe it or
I
not.
don't fucking
crazy.
remember. That was Jesus Christ. Um, yeah, I believed in her as recently as then, but I think I've given up. Speaking of which, like, who do you think like bottoms the barrel on the cards,
Hanan.
on the brackets, blocks, whatever? Um, well, okay, like that you wouldn't necessarily expect. I mean, because
You're
like
not gonna like my
obviously, like
answer.
I have Hanan at like 2 or 4 points or whatever.
You're not gonna like the other one. Like it's here, it's her
Okay,
and
yeah, that's true.
Azumi. Like Azumi is the clear gets like 6 points.
See, I feel like Mariah May gets
Well,
like 6
yeah, but you'd
points.
expect that of Mariah May. She's never been pushed.
You asked for someone
Yeah,
that
like
wasn't clear, and he
Mariah
gave you
is
someone that wasn't clear.
Mariah's cool and all, but she's never been
Sadly,
pushed. So you kind of expect her to go, 2 or 3
Yeah,
wins.
blue block is really
Yeah.
difficult because like I have like Momo, Azumi, and Mina hovering around 8 points.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, obviously one can like give up to the other, whatever. But like right around there, and then the rest is like either high or low. It's difficult this year because like I said, it's like I don't know if Momo like even breaks even this
Yeah,
year.
I mean the red
Which
stars is
right
like
now I don't.
ridiculous because I
Yeah.
mean you're gonna have somebody great with 6 points. Like there's
That's something that we haven't talked about. What are you guys' biases in terms of blocks? Like, which one do you think is better
red.
overall? Because like they really, I feel like blue is like just so hard to beat. Scott, how do you feel? Break
Well,
the tie.
just to
blue has a
yeah, I
higher.
wanted to try and sway
Okay, go
Scott
ahead.
before he answered. Is the blue has very high highs, but I think red depth wise is just untouchable. Like you look at all of those pairings.
I feel the inverse.
Really? I mean, are you really excited to see
Uh,
Azumi and Saori? They're both great, but stylistically, that seems like
Yes.
a nightmare. And
What you know about the
Hanan
military,
versus
huh? What do you know
Julia
about the army?
feels like a real stylistic nightmare as well. I don't know. I just think
Wait, who against Julia?
Hanan, again,
They
stylistically,
ran
that
that
might
last
be a
year. It was
nightmare.
fine.
Like,
no, that'd be pretty beast. She might just absolutely
I don't know.
rock
I'm not sure.
and fights back in a babyface fiery comeback, and it could
Yeah,
just be awesome.
could.
And you could be wrong.
Julia was like good last
That
year.
could be this year's. Well, it won't be as good as last year, but like it could be like this year's Julia's Starlight Kid match. It won't
Yeah.
be as good, but like she just beats up a young
That's
child,
fair.
and they
All
fight
right. Well,
back.
I tried to
Yeah.
win you over. Yeah.
Well, let me answer. Well, you didn't.
I'm just
I
saying, I
didn't
tried.
speak yet, and you
It's
just were like trying to win me over. So what I was gonna say is, I think the Blue Stars block has a better floor, but the Red Stars block has more interesting highs to me, just from personal
Yeah.
preference. I literally just said Mayu and Suzu are my favorite 2 wrestlers, and they're in the same block. So, there's favoritism here. Based off of, like, matchups and, like, looking at each day, I think there is more likely to be a great match on the Blue Stars block side per day, and that's mostly because there's just days that it's either Ami Saray or Natsuko against, like,
Are you
I don't know,
or each
each
other? Yeah.
other.
That's
Or
day one.
Mayu versus Ami Saray, like,
Yeah.
that's the day that we're fighting, Like, there
Yeah.
there could be problems that day. It's interesting to me because, like, then there's the idea that Ami uses this
Mhm.
tournament to get better, and I think that's what she will do, truthfully, because I watched that tag title match. That was the best showing she's had in ever,
Yeah.
maybe probably ever,
At
truthfully.
least since last year.
I know and I know she lost, but that was one of those where I said, okay, this tournament could be
Kind of
good
see what
for
she's
her.
going for
I've been
more so.
Yeah, I've been going back and forth, and she does benefit because she's like the tall person of the block. There's no others to oppose her, right? Like she's
Yeah.
kind of the
But that is
powerhouse
also
for the
kind of
most
scary
part.
because I feel like her going Hoss would
No,
be
no,
good.
because if you keep her away from
Okay.
Mariah, it's
But
good. She's in a different block from
yes,
Mariah.
okay,
She's
yes,
automatically better
yes.
off.
But wasn't your favorite Ami match until recently the Jamaica match, which was a Hoss match? You know what I mean? Or did you hate that one?
Well, yeah, but Hameka was
Yeah.
oh, I liked that one, but I think Hameka really like focused on trying to do that for
Mhm.
Ami. I don't know if like Mike is gonna go in there and be like, yeah, let me make sure Ami Saori looks
Okay, yeah,
good.
that's true. That's true.
Like Hameka was on her way out, like
She's putting
Hameka
people over.
needed to do that. It felt like, yeah, she did it for
Yeah.
Hanako
That's
too.
true.
Like,
Dude,
she
Hanako
gave
should
her
be
a
in this
finish.
tournament. She'd kick ass.
I'm gonna pick the Red Stars block.
Hell yeah.
actually.
Wow. I'm a blue.
Mayu and Suzu are in it.
See,
That
and
automatically
you know
wins.
what? You know what?
It's funny
Dylan
because
is picking the block with Hanan and Azumi because he is so basic. He is so
I do
basic.
love Hanan and
That is crazy.
and Micah and Utami.
That's true,
It's almost
actually,
like I don't know if you guys remember, but Utami is everybody's favorite wrestler, and also Mariah's in there.
She's not Alex's wrestler. We've actually established this on this
I
very
got
show today.
That's true.
That
That's true.
she is
But
not. She's ours, but not
Yeah.
Alex's. Alex's
but
is
Utami,
Mia.
but Alex did just say Utami's going to have the best tournament.
That's true.
I look at Blue Block. The issue with Blue Block is Momo Watanabe. is I don't know
I
how
hate that.
I don't know how great she's gonna be. Like she might kill it.
She
And
just had a
we
good
talked
match
about
with
yesterday.
Hanako. I think she's back. She
Yes.
heard us. Like she listened to the show and said,
I
"Fuck
don't
these
like saying
two."
she's back until she's back. I don't like saying she's back till she's
That's
back.
true,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Because she could just not be back. She could be very not back. Like incredibly
Wrestling Mariah
terrible.
night one.
Yeah.
We'll know.
It could be Jover.
Yeah,
But it may
100%.
not be Jover.
It could be very
Okay.
Joker. Like that's what I
See.
mean. And like otherwise it's like people like Mariah May, I hope has a great showing. You know what I mean? And even if she doesn't, if she doesn't, it's like she hasn't had that many singles matches in this company. Like
she publicly acknowledged me.
she publicly acknowledged all three of us, so shouts out. But I agree. But I see a lot of like potential in Blue Stars block. I see a lot of interest. I think the issue that I've had with Red Stars is that it's just a lot like last year's Blue, except with Shuri in it. Pretty much. That's
last year's Blue was the better block.
Well, yeah, last year's Blue was a great block, but I'm just saying that I've seen a lot of these matches before, and
yeah, but now you're gonna see them
very
again.
recently,
They're gonna be good
in the exact same format. I agree.
Well, no,
I'm
they're
not. I
in
don't
the
think
exact
either
same
are
format,
bad. I don't
'cause
think
you're seeing
either
Shuri
block
versus
is
Suzu for the first time.
Goodness, what did you start? Dylan asked one
Like
question
Sure.
and we're off on World War 3. This is
I don't remember what he said, to be fair. I love the Blue
Okay.
Stars block.
I think
to
both
be
blocks
fair.
are great.
obviously
I think
it's a great tournament.
If I didn't have to pick, I'd say
Yeah,
neither.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the best
It's
tournament
the
of
best.
the year.
This might be the best tournament field in Joshi history. Like Dylan and I know those All Japan wrestling, fucking Japan Grand Prix
The Japan
were
Grand Prix were
terrible.
very good.
They had rookies going 30 in that shit. I've never.
Yeah. Mariko Yoshida made an enemy out of me because she went 30 minutes against Kyoko
dear
Inoue in like her third year. And I was like, this chick is bad. And then I watched more Arjun. I was like, okay, she's one of the best of all time. I'm sorry.
All right, Dylan, you win. I'm picking the Blue Stars block.
Oh. Wow.
That's
Okay.
Let's
That's
go.
all right.
Let's go.
I looked at the final day. The final day for that excites me more. So
yeah, I mean, like that's the thing is that's like there is a certain like floor to most of the Red Stars. It's like I mean when you have Hazuki, Suzu, Shuri, and Saya in there, and Mayu.
If Momo goes crazy, it's unmatchable.
That's true though.
I feel like the Red Stars block has
love this
7 or 8 different people who could go crazy though. Like I feel,
that's
like
true. They
Hazuki,
will.
the definition of consistency. Suzu, amazing.
Okay, we're debating
I
the
know,
best tournament
but Dylan,
ever. Like,
Dylan asked this question, and now he has to
It's a fun
suffer the
conversation.
consequences, right? So Mayu,
This is not me suffering. I've been enjoying
He's having a
it.
good
Saori,
time.
Saya, Hazuki, Natsupoi, Suzuki, all like guaranteed great wrestlers, right? Natsuko Tora has been in her
That's
bag.
true.
So Natsuko Tora shows up to this tournament.
Yes.
She's
That's true.
beating bitches. Tam Nakano is not that bad,
That's true.
right? I know she gets a bad rep. I know she gets a bad rep. Tam Nakano is not that bad, guys. She's
a really good
really
tournament
cool.
wrestler. Really good
If
tournament.
you guys like
wrestler. I think she's
clip
finished
things,
tournaments.
if you guys clip things from this podcast, which I think I will now, I'm just gonna go find this and just keep playing it on cycle of Alex saying Tam Nakano's not that bad.
Like,
I think
no, because he was like building up to something. Then he's like, I can't be that. I can't go that high on her.
You know what I mean? Like she gets a bad rep, but
No, I agree.
Tam's had like
I
my
agree.
favorite matches of some of the past GPs. Like she's gonna deliver.
I think tournaments. Tournaments
Also, Starlight Kid rocks.
I'll be honest.
Sorry, Dylan.
Yeah.
Here's what will decide the best block. whether Tam tries hard the entire tournament or Momo
I think
tries
asking
hard.
Tam to go an entire tournament with effort is going very far. She has never.
Well,
she has never.
she's on every. She has a match on every Cork in her
Yeah,
live
but
show, like big match.
She usually
so she
does
has no
the injury
choice.
angle. I
She
think,
has no
doesn't
choice.
She's always like, "Oh, my arm hurts. Oh no!" And
She-
then I'm like, "Great, thanks, lovely."
Well, she's a champion. She doesn't
I don't know.
have a
I mean,
choice.
she takes a lot of inspiration from Tanahashi. He's always like, "Oh, my back hurts," and it's like, "Oh, great."
Yeah, but Tanahashi's
Yeah, but like,
great.
so Tam can be great.
Did you time out? Did you just compare?
No, I'm just saying
Hiroshi
they do
Tanahashi
the
and
same.
Nakano?
Yeah,
They do the same
Mina
gimmick.
is
They
the
do the same
Tanahashi
gimmick
of
of,
this
"Oh, my
roster.
arm hurts now," and it's like, "Oh, great, every match is an arm work match," because Tanahashi used to do that.
That was actually a Keiji Muto thing, much like most Tanahashi
Damn.
things.
Pro wrestler love. All right, things got a bit heated there. I think we can all agree this is a great tournament. So if I'm not mistaken, there's only two newcomers to the GP, right? Like there's only two people in their first tournament. So how do we think they do?
Yeah.
Because Saori Anou is an interesting one. Because her block is set up for success. And I feel like she's having a career year in the ring, even though some people like to disagree on that. But like,
who?
People.
Say it.
I don't want to say it, but I think going from great to really great is improvement that deserves to be acknowledged. Because when you say somebody gets better, people assume that you mean they were shit, and I'm like, no, she was good, and now she's really great. So I think Saori Anou is having like a career year of sorts. So
yeah,
I think she could have a great tournament, but it really depends on how she gels with everybody. Because I think that could be a question.
Yeah, I do agree. Her style may clash with a lot of people. Like I have high hopes for her. I have high hopes for the block in general, as I just argued about for 20 minutes. But I do think her style could clash with plenty of people here. And I also think that like it's gonna be hard because I don't know how often she's gonna be able to like just lay on her back. You know what I mean? Just lose, just straight up. You know what I mean? And it's like that's just kind of what you have to do when you're a babyface wrestler in a Stardom tournament. You know, like Natsuko can DQ herself and never eat a pin. She won't. She'll get pinned, but she could do that. Like Anu doesn't have that option. But like I don't think she's going that far. You know, I think she probably maxes at like 10 points. Like that's like honestly, she has to drop at least 3 around. Like it's hard to see her like putting in I don't know, putting in a shift every single show, regardless of if she wins or loses, and against wrestlers that she might not be totally comfortable with, just style wise. So I definitely see that there is a potential for an issue, but at the same time, she's good. So it's like there's also like we could just be talking about nothing. She could have one of the best tournaments of.
That is fair. That is fair. Scott, how are you feeling about Anou? You're just positive?
Dark horse for MVP.
Whoa. Okay. Interesting.
She personally told me that she can't wait to wrestle Momo and Azumi. So,
she's gonna kill Azumi.
If she's
that is amazing.
If she's pumped for those matches,
bro, that's ex-military, bro.
I know,
That's Azumi's
but
army
the
right
fact
there.
she's pumped for those matches tell you she's gonna go crazy. She's gonna have a Julia match that those two are probably gonna assault
I also
each
think
other.
that was my question.
She has a Mariah match where that's on a Cork in her pay-per-view. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Ooh.
That's going to be fantastic because there's a title aspect there as well. She has a great final night against Mina Shirakawa. She is just a great wrestler. And I think she is someone who is quickly becoming one of the main, I won't say main characters until she officially signs, but she is one of the main focal points moving forward in Stardom. Like that has been, she just main evented a pay-per-view. And truthfully, if that match with Natsupoi was better, I don't think anyone would be questioning this right now. But since the strap match had to happen, it wasn't just a regular match. Here we are.
Yeah.
I think
there is a lot of recent things that kind of like play against Anu in a way.
There's a lot of things that do play for Anu though, because she doesn't necessarily care how big the venue is. She's willing to wrestle hard in any venue. I've seen it in the indies.
Yeah.
She has great matches in the smallest
the Sendai
buildings.
Pit.
And sometimes yes, the Sendai Pit. Exactly. You get it.
One of the worst.
I think she's going to have a great tournament in the ring, and I think she's going to surprise a lot of people who either for some reason are unsure, or maybe they're just not sold on Saori Anou in Stardom yet. I am, because I think she's been great for the most part. And I think while there are clashing of styles, she's gonna step up in the biggest of matches.
That is fair. That is fair.
I think Anu has a very Suzu Suzuki-esque run from last year,
Mhm.
where Suzu did
Yeah.
very well, obviously.
Of course she did.
I imagine she was probably at the top of my MVP
She was
list.
mine.
She was top 5. She was in the top 5 for me.
That's a lot,
'Cause that was
seeing there's
crazy.
26. That's
Yeah, I
impressive
mean,
when there's
like
26 people.
Hazuki was above her. Sai was like, it's kind of hard. But yeah, she had a really solid tournament last year. And I think Anu has the potential to kind of do that. Like I said, the things working against Anu isn't her at all. I think it's more so just like, okay, she's tagging with Natsupoi. That Natsupoi match wasn't great. Like it's more so her relation with the roster than it is like, oh, she isn't going to deliver. It's just like, what spots is she going to be put in? Like, we don't really talk about much when it comes to the 5-star. I think it's more talked about with the G1, like who gets the main events, right? Like you said, Anu doesn't really need a main event to show out, but is she going to be like prioritized? Like, I think that's a valid question in that sort of sense. Um, and I think that kind of also brings in Mariah May. In like Mariah May is not
Yes,
going to
I
be
was I was
prioritized. I
gonna
think we
get
can
to
all
that.
kind
Don't
of
worry.
safely assume.
Do you want to switch tack
And I think that's
to
an
Mariah?
interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, I would. I don't have much
Yeah,
to say about Anu, but
that's
I think she
cool.
could do it.
Yeah. So Mariah then is kind of the most interesting new addition because I think her tournament wholly depends on what her opponents are bringing to the table. Because every year we see somebody who isn't really, in that top tier, and the rest of the field just kind of sees it as a night off, basically. I think with Rocca it
Yeah,
happened. Rocca just hit them with the box. They came back. The match was over, and everybody went back to the backstage.
the
Hanan, I think,
Bushiroad.
was similar enough as well last year. Like everybody's kind of got out there. They did the simple stuff. They took it home, and that was it, right? And I think Mariah May could fall victim to that of if her opponent,
I mean, there was a
yeah,
lot of those last
yeah,
year. There's like
like
Momokogo, My Sakurai,
there
Saki,
was a lot of
ton of
night
them.
off wrestlers last year, and there's not a lot this year. So I feel like somebody like Mariah runs the risk of everybody else just being like, well, look, we're second on the card. Yeah,
It's
we're
not good enough.
second on the card. You do your stuff. I come back. I win. We take it home. Right. Now, I'm not saying she's not going to have any good matches. I mean, there's going to be matches where both her and her opponent are extra motivated. I imagine Azumi and her will do well. We've seen Mariah kind of have fun, high speed stuff. Mina Shirakawa is obviously going to go all out to help Mariah have the best match possible. But I do think there's a worry there for some of the other wrestlers to just be like, okay, we're just going to keep it simple and we're done, and they're not going to.
There is the potential for a few hell matches there, because I don't think Mariah May can drag an uninterested Momo
Yes.
Watanabe. I hate that she's just the one. I don't think that Mariah May can drag an uninterested, uncaring Momo Watanabe into like a great match,
Mhm.
unless Momo just kills her. Which I don't know if Momo's even going to put in that much effort into certain matches like that. Uh, so yeah, I
Yeah,
totally agree
no,
with you.
I think
Sorry,
that's
go
just
ahead.
it. Like, that's my issue with Mariah May.
Finish it
Like,
off.
we know what she can bring to the table, but I wonder if her block will just see her as the simple match of the night where, they're second on the card, they're third on the card. They're not going to kill themselves because they're in the middle of a grueling tournament. Because we do see it happen every year. And I mean, I don't blame the wrestlers for trying to rest a little bit, but we do see it happen kind of all the time. Um, yeah, Dylan, you agree? Scott, how about you?
Mariah May's in an interesting spot, obviously, because she's not on a lot of the major shows like the
Hmm.
Corkins, the pay-per-views, besides the first night, and she has her Corking against Mina, so that will be great. Um, but I do think where she benefits, and while we think of the people who might take the night off, she also has people who don't usually take their nights off. Micah,
Mhm.
Mariah, like those two jump out to me. As Azumi doesn't take nights off. Those three to me, and those are all on
I think Micah might be an issue looking at the schedule because that's pretty late in the tournament. I
Yeah, but
feel like
like
Micah just
Mariah
might
can
be
just
saving
like
herself for.
do things, and then Micah can
That's
just
true.
hit her with a
Mariah's definitely one
clothesline.
of them.
It look
Yeah.
beast. That's the beauty of some of these wrestlers. Like I think Mariah can do a lot, and kind of help her opponents not have to do a lot,
Mm.
if that makes sense. And the match can still turn out well. She definitely will be in the tough spot though, because she is, like you guys said, not she's lower on the
Yeah.
cards, right? She's not one of the main competitors. But at the same time, you just never know, I think. Going into this tournament as opposed to the past, there isn't those necessary nights off. And it's pretty spread out this year.
Yeah.
So it just takes like good timing for Mariah May, I think, as well. Because, for example, Julia has like 2 or 3 weeks off in between her match with Hanan and her match with Mariah May. Maybe she flips a switch.
She might be getting back into it, yeah.
Yeah, like maybe that's where she flips a switch. Like, and especially because it's the match with Hanan, so it's like she's not even like she's gonna go crazy in that match necessarily. It all depends on timing, like I said. I think that's what it will come down to. Mariah May is in a spot where she's going to put in a lot of effort. She's going to go out there trying to prove something. And I think if her opponents care, which it'll depend, I'm sure, as long as her opponents care enough, I think she can still benefit from it. She's not going to walk away as like, the MVP or anything. But I do think she has a good tournament, and I do think we look back and we'll say, even if she didn't win a lot, she benefited a lot from what everyone was willing
Yeah,
to
and
do with her.
one.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say we're all rooting for her because, like, I think she's quite good. I think we all think she's quite good, and not just because she she gave us shouts out. I do really hope that she gets some good stuff out of some good wrestlers because, like I said, I really like Blue Block. I think she has a lot of people to work with, but you never really know. I do like that they kind of set it up so that her and Anu, which seems like a really cold match, is going to have some heat to it because they have that tag title
Mm.
match. So like if there's a match like that that's like, that's going to have a little bit of spice to it, a little bit of zest to it. Shouts out Alex Zane. I think that's a match that you kind of look at. It's like, oh, I don't know how Mariah May will do in that match sort of thing, but and that's the second day, 29th of July. Uh, I think there are matches that she can definitely show out in, and I'm
Yeah.
excited for it.
Well,
Sorry for cutting you
she's
off.
going to benefit from everything being fresh. I mean, she hasn't had many singles matches.
Yes.
She hasn't had any singles matches with these people specifically. So everything is going to be new, and that will obviously be a great benefit because we've seen an Azumi singles match in a tournament a lot. We've seen a Julia singles match. We've seen a Utami singles match. But we don't know what a Mariah May match looks like to a full extent. So I do think she's going to benefit from everything kind of feeling a bit fresh. But yeah, she's definitely an interesting one, and she's going to be one that I think a lot of people are paying attention to because she's got a big fan base and people are really into Mariah and they really see big things in her. So yeah, this is definitely if you do well here, you're backing a lot of people up. I suppose the last thing to ask is, do you have any sleeper matches of the tournament? Is there one match that stands out to you that you don't see anybody really talking about that you think it's gonna deliver? And I can start if you guys want, if you wanna take a minute to think.
I have my one, but I'm gonna think
Yeah.
of a second one.
All right. So I start.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Yeah, good.
Despite what I was just saying, I think my sleeper is probably Mina Shirakawa versus Mariah May. Tag team partners always work well together, but I think Mina especially. Everybody seems to say that she's lovely and really nice, and I think she's gonna try everything in her arsenal to get Mariah over with that match. Like I think if anybody in this tournament is gonna go, okay, we're stealing the show here, it's gonna be Mina Shirakawa. So I think that match is gonna be where both of them are going at max speed and max capacity. And I think, I know I love Mina and all, but I mean, if she's at full tilt and Mariah is at full tilt, I think you're in for a very, very good match.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm trying to be original, but
You don't have to.
it's
It's
hard
fine.
for me. Yeah, it's me.
We've been doing this
You
for
guys
3 years now. Original
know.
is dead. Okay, everybody knows
That's
us
true.
at this
That's true.
stage.
Speaking of three, I guess it was 4 years ago now. Hanan Utami. is a match that they had a future title match years ago. It was a major overperformer. I think it was in like Shinkiba, but it was a major overperformer. One of the best Hanan matches like of her teens, like until she turned like 17, 18, of her younger career. The best Hanan match, I think I'd argue. Um, they both are judokas, they're both quite good. I know Utami has a soft spot for the younger wrestlers, the trainees, the rookies that she grew up with, so like obviously she's 6 years older than Hanan, but they were kind of coming around the same time, and I think that's a really great match. Issue with that is that it is in the death spot of the tournament. It's on the penultimate day of the tournament, and there's only two tournament matches on that card. They're kind of like the leftover matches, and so that's a bit of a bummer. Is that it probably is going to be uh a bit lower effort. It's not going to be because you notice in after watching these tournaments for a few years that it's like those last 2 days before the finals get a bit rough, right? Like I think there was a Sai Kamatani Julia match last year that was good. There's a Starlight Kid Susan match that was good, but it's hard to remember them because you're so close to the finish line type of thing, and it's they don't always go all the way out. So that's my issue with that, but I think that's the match that I'm most looking forward to. And I've been saying it since we brought her up, but Anu versus Azumi is a match that like I'm interested in as somebody who is a big fan of Azumi's army. Of the Azumi being 14 years old and commanding around a bunch of adult wrestlers. Sorry, Anu being one of them. I was always a big fan of that sort of stuff. So I'm excited to see them mix it up again for the first time in years. I think that'll be really, really fun. So those are my kind of sleeper hits. The Azumi Anu one is more of like a sentimental one than like this is going to be the best match ever. Whereas Utami and Hanan, if they put effort in, if they aren't, worn out, fatigued from the tournament, that's going to be a really great match. I'm really excited to see them run that back.
All right. Well, Scott, have you got yours?
I do. I'm gonna cheat and have two as well. Don't you worry.
It's graceful.
My first one, and I don't know. I don't pay attention to everything that everyone says, so maybe people were talking about this. Maybe you guys already said it earlier. I have no recollection. It's been 20
It's
minutes.
gonna be the
We
one that
talked
I
about
just
a
said
lot
a
of things.
minute ago, and it's gonna be like, wait a minute.
No, you said Hanan and Utami, and you said Azumi and Saori. I paid attention to that. Hanan and Utami did jump up for me until I saw what day it was on. I was like, damn.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like, oh man, it was a few days earlier.
Mariah and Hanan isn't even one, but that jumps out to me every time
Yeah.
because they have a connection that they often talk about on Twitter. Like she acknowledges her as a future ace, and Mariah kind of wants to be her first rival in a lot of ways, which is very funny. Her first main event rival, I should say. I know Hanan has rivals already. Shout out Ruaka.
Yeah.
So I just want to bring those to question, but one of them is Julia and Micah. I think. I mean, there's just so many great matches, right, in this tournament that it's like easy to overlook one that's on Cork and Hall, especially based on the match that we just saw. Or well, we didn't see it, but we saw the aftermath enough from the Cork and Hall show between those two. And I feel like it's going to be a really important point to where Micah is going moving forward. Like that'll be your, for Dylan, I'll give him the Tetsuya Naito Sonata match from New Japan Cup potentially. Could be a big moment for Micah one way or the other.
You know what? That's actually a very great comparison because like that does feel like the show that if Micah is gonna leave,
just three girls, can't wait.
Just three girls, big, medium, small. That's what they call themselves, and I love that. It's a great name. Is large, medium, small.
It's reasonable.
Yeah.
And then the other one is I'm not gonna say Mayan Starlight Kid. I'm trying to not make people hear that because obviously it's the only match I care about because they only book it for me on that final day every year. That was very disrespectful. Yeah, no one else wants it. Anyways, I'll say Utami and Momo because if there's one match that I think Momo will be driven for, it's that one. I think there's just so much story to play off of there that everyone's overlooking Momo because they're just we've gotten to the point with Momo where she's not the same person she once was, and she's had a bad year. Let's just be honest. She's had a bad year. The match with Saya did not live up to expectations. The match with Natsuko against well, that's not their fault. I mean, they were fighting the New Errors, but that wasn't all that great. And otherwise, sure, she's in a 5-star match in the cage match, and I guess she played a decent part in that. But
You want to know if Momo didn't have that case, she would be like, I don't know if she'd be top
yeah,
100
it'd be real
on my
bad. It'd
list
be real bad.
because it's been a rough year.
In terms of like how my points work, she was at like 0.5 for like
Yeah, yeah,
5 months.
yeah.
0.5.
I'm way more
That's
forgiving, and
bad.
she was like below Rena. Now
She
she's
might
just
still be
barely
below
above
Rena, to be
Rena,
fair.
but yeah,
Rena got 5 stars too, remember?
yeah, exactly.
But with Utami Momo, that is a 5-star special in Hiroshima show. That is on pay-per-view. That is going to be very important. It's going to be a very important part of Utami's tournament. And this is a match that we've been waiting for a very long time. I know they did it on that random house show once in like the blind gauntlet match between
Yeah.
each team.
Crazy that was the
That doesn't
payoff at
count.
that point
Yeah,
for like a
that
year.
doesn't count. This is the payoff I think everyone wants one way or the other. They're going to have a great match because Momo's still great. It's just a matter if she cares. And I think against Utami, someone she has a relationship with, someone that she has a connection with, she will care. And I'm very excited for
All
that.
right.
See, I worry for that because I think Momo might win that. I think that's one of Utami's few losses, and Momo winning a big match, it makes me worry that it's going to be an Oedo Tai win and not a Momo win because I mean, I feel
Well,
like
I like the Momo Hazuki match last year at the end,
yeah, actually,
and that was an
that
Oyo
that is
Tai
that
win.
is something that I want to bring up. I know, I'm sorry, Alex. I know you're trying to close the show.
Hazuki? Yeah, let's bring up
Is
Hazuki.
Suzuki? Yeah.
That's so
Um,
real of you.
I love Hazuki. I think Hazuki's great. I worry because I think this year's tournament is going to end pretty much the exact same way it did last year. Um, where she does good, maybe doesn't get 8 straight like she did last year, which was awesome. But maybe doesn't get 8 straight, but does pretty well, and then just gets foiled by the Wado Tai last day against Natsuko, which is the way that it should go. But how do you feel about some of these middle of the road wrestlers, the Hazukis, Micah, if she doesn't go to the final or win, and she is kind of like treads water, so to speak, at that 10-point mark? How do you feel about who you think can really like show out of that bunch, and who do you think is going to kind of suffer from that bunch? Because obviously they're all good, but like, does Hazuki just not really making any progress in the past year affect her? Same question for a Micah. I guess
She doesn't
Mariah.
have an off switch
I,
mode.
I think Mariah is fine because she's white belt champion now. Um, but like, do you think this tournament could have a negative impact on anybody? Because like I could also see like a Natsupoi not making a lot of points here, and that might be a bit rough for her. You know what I mean? When I think she should, but it's going to be hard for her to grab points from certain people. Do you think this tournament can negatively affect anybody in terms of just like momentum and like power level type of thing? I know this is a bit more of a meta question,
I
but
hope it affects Tam.
Um,
it's got to humble
In
her.
all
Got to humble
seriousness,
yeah.
I'll answer her first. I think this is actually a really big tournament for Azumi.
her.
I
I
do.
do too.
This isn't a attack on Dylan or anything. This is like a very big tournament for her because it's the first time, right? She's away from the high speed title now. She's should be moving up on the card now. She's we know she's been ready for 2 years, but it's a big tournament for her. And if she's just still in the bottom half,
Just gonna be hard
just
for her to get out of.
being it is, but just being another wrestler, like she's going to need more than ever to get 2 signature wins, right? Like be that X because she's the spoiler of the
Yeah.
block. No doubt about it. She's gonna need to get like real signature wins that she can build off of. If she can beat, and this is the match I keep talking about. If she can beat Mariah and get a white belt match out of
Mhm.
this, big benefit to her. I think it's a total win of a tournament. But if she was just to lose to Mariah, I remember this a few years ago with Konami, because I remember talking on this show how Konami should beat Tam to get a Wonder Stardom title match.
Yep.
Obviously, that didn't happen, and Konami ultimately was done by the end of the year. I'm not saying that's happening with Azumi, but she's in that kind of situation where she needs a title run. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I was just like,
No, I know.
she needs to get a big win that gets her a big match out of this, and Mariah's the obvious option in that. And I hope, and I do predict that she will be one of Mariah's losses.
And that'll bring up another thing, and I'm gonna let you put your input in, Alex, in a moment. I see her winning over Momo and winning over Julia. I don't know if I see her winning over Mariah, which her winning over Mariah would be good because it would be a white belt match, and that would, Mariah needs challengers. Like, quite frankly, she needs people to be able to beat her and challenge for the white belt, just to make it a bit, you know, interesting, and it's not just Micah and Utami or Micah and Hazuki challenging every single white belt champion and losing. I think an Azumi is a great shout to beat Mariah type of thing. But I don't know if I agree with you, but I don't know if that's the win that she gets. I feel like she has to beat either or both Julia and Momo. I feel like that's like the signature win she needs. But Alex, how do you feel about
And
the momentum?
beating Momo's nothing.
That's true. Well, for
I'm
Azumi,
sorry,
it would be
it's just
something. For Azumi, it'd be something.
yeah, that's true.
But for most people, yeah, it's
That's
kind
true.
of nothing. But Alex, how do you feel about the momentum thing that I was talking about?
I think everybody's fine. If anybody,
That really read to me. I want the show to
it's
end.
just
I don't care.
I think you're panicking about something that maybe just won't be a problem, because if anybody is going to have parity, it is Rossi Ogawa. Like, that man is insane. If he wants 2 points to separate first from sixth, he will do it. And we've seen him do it. Like, 8
True.
people will enter the final day with a chance of being in the final.
Poor Hanan.
So I feel like he's gonna make sure that everybody gets wins to some degree, and I think any losses anybody does get comes with the understanding that these are two of the most stacked blocks you've ever seen. I mean, just power
So nobody gets
wise.
Unagi, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but I mean, like, just power wise, you have Julia, faction leader; Utami, faction leader; Mariah, white belt champion; Micah, number 2 of DDM; Mom Watanabe, top 3 of Oedo Tai; Azumi, top 3 of Queen's Quest. Like, that alone is a hell run for anybody, like, that is a powerful block to go through. So I feel like even if you lost to all 6 of them, it's like, well, yeah, they're kind of like 6 of the best in Stardom, but I think that's fine. So I think I think it'd be fine. There's an understanding here that there are some big hitters in the blocks, and I mean, look, it's Rossi. Yeah, he will have people win in unexpected situations. He will have everything be as close as he can going into that final day, um, and I suspect we'll see a lot of surprising results over the next few months.
Yep. I have one more thing. I brought it up last year and I totally forgot because I didn't write anything down for this. I was kind of looking at my chart. Um, Upsets, like what are like a big upset or two or whatever in the tournament that you see happening, and championships. Who do you think beats champions like in a notable fashion? Because
You
yeah,
put a
I
lot of
don't.
thought into these, whereas
My
I
tam,
don't, because
yeah,
like, I
I put a
haven't
ton of thought
even
into this.
I haven't put any thought into that. I imagine like most of the big upsets will be final day or first day, and at this stage, are they even upsets if they happen every year? Um, and as far as titles, I imagine Suzu might beat Tam because she's been being like, "Hey, I want to challenge for the world title." So you have Suzu beating Tam for that, and her getting a match. Mirai definitely lose to Azumi. It is time for Azumi to lose her regularly scheduled title shot per year. Um, so yeah, probably Azumi and
Quite fixated.
Suzu probably are the two who like win, beat champions, and then get title matches out of it. That's probably it that I can see.
My big one is actually I think Mariah May might beat Mariah.
Mm,
Nice.
I could see
maybe.
them running that. I would Mariah May or Hanan. I don't think Hanan
She
beats
gets
Mariah.
one big win, I
Yeah, I
think.
think Mariah May gets
Mariah May.
gets the big win over Mariah. Um, yeah, and then it's interesting. Like I said earlier, I think that Kid pushes a draw against Mayu, which is a big upset because she loses every single year, and like that's like a thing. So I think that
Nerd.
wait, me or Kid? Because I agree with one of those things. No, both of them actually. I'm
Which
I'm,
one?
I'm a nerd. Yeah, it's fine. I agree with both of them.
I meant Kid.
Yeah, but so I think Starlight Kid pushing a draw. It doesn't matter if she fucking gets 4 points or 5 points if I'm going off a draw. It doesn't matter if she gets 5 points bottom of the block. If she draws with Mayu, I think that's
Yeah.
bigger than any win she can get in the entire tournament, right? And I feel like this might be the year. So that's a big one. As I was saying with Azumi, it's not really even upsets anymore because it's Azumi. But yeah, there are a lot of options. I feel like Mina might get one over Mariah. Like you said, sure, or I be good.
Yeah? You okay there? Oh,
That's
yeah, I
okay.
see what you're on about.
Yeah, no, something just went crazy.
They yelled
In
at him.
Discord. Yeah. I think Saya over Tam as well. I think those are the two locks for me: is Suzu and Saya over Tam, maybe a Mayu over Tam. Uh, Natsuko over Tam would be cool, but I'm kind of listing a lot of people over Tam, so
Yes.
I'm not gonna get too much into it. But yeah, I'm excited. I think there are a lot of upsets that are possible. I'm interested to see who Hanan gets at least 2 points over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like because she isn't gonna end with 0. I hope. Like I don't think they put her like that.
Is
I don't think they
Ida
do
the only
anybody like
person
that.
to ever go
She has to get at
over?
least a couple points. No, she beat Mina,
Rocco went over.
Rock went
Oh, yeah.
0.
I
Did Ida
think
go
Ida
0?
went
Ida
0
won
because didn't she
last year,
face
didn't she?
Natsuko on like the final day and then
Ida got a win.
she lost still?
Oh, you
Yeah.
mean 2021? Yeah. Let me check real quick.
Do you want me to
No.
answer your question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I
It
said
wasn't
no
your
anyway.
question,
It's
Alex.
my show.
Shut up. All right. Mariah loses to Azumi and Micah, and one more person that I had in my mind, but you guys kept talking, so it fell out of my head.
You guys,
so
it was
thanks
me.
a lot. Well, Alex was attacking me. Oh, Saori Anou. I think Saori Anou gets a win over Mariah as well. And then on the World of Stardom title side, I think she goes to a draw with Mayu. I don't think they give that away one way or the other, just because. And then I think Shuri beats Tam.
Ooh.
Sets that up because it's kind of like when Utami
Yeah.
got the title match last year. But instead it'll be Shuri getting the title match in between. Give Tam a real good win for this title, something that she hasn't really had outside of the Mina thing, but that was just like just kind of happened.
She literally hasn't had a
For
defense.
the double
Like,
title,
that's
and everyone
crazy. Yeah.
yeah. Besides that, technically. And then I have one more. Let me see out of the list of people. I think Suzu's definitely a good shout. I think I'm definitely in agreement with that. But that would be it. That would be it. So
Suzu Tam is also on the Korakuen with the Generational Battle 3. So
Yep.
yeah, there will be stuff like that, which also has Kid and Hazuki on it. That's interesting. Yeah, so I definitely see a Suzu over Tam. I think that's a lock for me at least.
All right.
wow.
Yeah.
Lock.
Yes.
That's pretty meaningful. Saori Anou's on that versus
Crazy.
Mariah's on that show too.
Mm,
Which I just said Saori Anou beats.
Upset City.
interesting.
Champs in the mud.
Well,
I'm actually really excited. We didn't talk about. I'm excited for Mariah's tournament as well, but that's
I
all.
thought you were gonna say the tournament.
Yeah.
No, we did talk about it. That's
No,
the
I don't
entire
think we could.
conversation.
I don't think we could
I think
detail
Mariah-
everybody who's going to
Mariah's
have a
gonna be
good
great.
tournament because
That's all.
there's like 12 of them.
Yes,
so
But I think the only
There's more
person
than
that we
12.
haven't at least mentioned much outside of like, oh, she's champion, is Mariah, and I think Mariah's gonna.
I've said Mariah's name at least
yeah,
25
I think
times.
Scott is the.
Well, you a clapper, you know what I mean?
All right. Okay. So,
Jesus.
did you just say Jesus?
Jesus.
There were 5 of them. There were 3 of them. There were 3 claps.
There are.
No, it's a
true.
term of endearment.
All right.
Shouts out
Well,
to clappers.
I was right. I was right
They
first.
smell
Alex was right last.
smell what Mariah is cooking, bro.
Nice.
you
Shouts out
you guys done?
End
Yeah.
of the damn show.
All right. Thank you, Scott, as always. You are such an incredible presence to have on the show. Do you want to plug your like 20 projects?
No, not really, but I guess I will. Follow me at Scotty Wrestling on Twitter. I have an interview with Saori Anou coming out ahead of the 5-star Grand Prix, so that's
Excited for
cool.
that.
Some of the answers are good, some of them are kind of what you'd expect. Some of them are like big time. Oh, she has no emotion on her face, and when she answers
Yeah.
that question, damn, that's tough. But I love Saori, so check that out. I'll probably have a full like Grand Prix written preview out eventually on Voice of Wrestling. I say probably. I will have it out. I just have to make myself right,
Such
which
a
is
pain, honestly.
impossible.
Yeah.
It is. It is. And then I think I'll probably do one more like talking preview where I'll just be by myself on my own show. That'll be on the Fight Game Media YouTube channel. So if for some reason you need to hear me talk more, check that out. That'll be on July 20th at 5:30 Eastern.
All right. Good plugs. Well,
That's it. I
yeah,
have
Scott
nothing
and
else.
I will probably be reviewing this tournament as well, show by show for Voices of Wrestling. We haven't discussed it, but
Oh boy. Yeah, well, you gotta decide
yeah.
that schedule
So,
ahead of time.
yeah, you'll get a lot of Scott and I. But yeah, thanks for coming on, Scott. We love you as always. You're great. And I think
I don't write about this. It's my brain. It needs to be
yeah,
slowed
that's
down.
fair. You have
It's
complicated
so many
thoughts.
numbers.
Anyway. Stay tuned because Dylan and I will be covering this tournament show by show as the weeks tick by. It should be very fun. We will be back tomorrow just to review the house shows from this past weekend and preview whatever's coming up. We'll also discuss the only bit of news that Stardom had that I can't even remember if it's fully Stardom related, but you know what? We ball.
Oh, also, Ida got
All
2
right,
points
okay, that's
today.
good. Good for Ida.
The same amount as
Whoa,
Starlight Kid, in
that's
fact.
crazy. No.
You just wouldn't
All
let it
right.
go.
I know. Go.
Anyway, it is time to close the
That's
show.
awesome.
If you want to stand, you may stand. If you want to sit, you may sit. Believe today, shine tomorrow. You decide what you believe in. Ijo.
That was a bad tournament.